Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here, and we just got ourselves a new clone console. The Classiq II HD by Old Skool.
This thing has been on the market for a little while.
But it's new to us. So we're gonna sit down and tell you our impressions of this thing.
Speaking of new to us, Funkwerks Peachy King. It's a sour imperial saison ale. Don't know how I just got all that out of my mouth without tripping over my words. But we're excited to share it with you and discover the Classiq II HD. So sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and stay tuned for this episode of Gaming Off the Grid. Alright, here we go. The Classiq II HD by Old Skool. Robert, what the heck is this thing?
Oh, it's sweet. It's a clone console that plays your both NES and Super Nintendo games. It has an HDMI out and an AV out, depending on what TV type you have. And it comes with everything you need straight in the box, besides the video games, of course. So it's sweet.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. We opened the box up, everything's there. You get two controllers. You got all the hookups to play either way that you want. Let's talk about the controllers a little bit. Because that's important, because a lot of clone consoles, the controllers they come pre-packed with are usually a little dodgy.
Yeah, usually a little garbage. That's
Yeah.
But it comes with two controllers. One is styled like an NES controller, one styled like a Super Nintendo controller. And the NES controller is in the dog bone shape, which is super sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely the most ergonomic NES option for controller.
It feels so comfortable.
I mean, my hands are just formed to that regular rectangle, but it is a really neat shape and controller. The Super Nintendo controller, a couple things I want to note about it. The Y and X button are convex, they're not concaved. So for the North American players, that would be a change for you, so I just wanted to make sure we got that out there. And then there's two other things. One thing I noticed, clickiness.
Yeah, on both of them.
Yeah,
very
I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but they're very clicky controllers. And playing Mario 3 with the Dogbone NES style controller, I was having issues with the D-pad being able to slide seamlessly. It was having issues recognizing it. I kind of, you go forward, you know, with the right forward button and kind of roll into that bottom button and can slide down hills or under bricks. And it was very, very inconsistent. To the point that I literally paused it, got up, and came and grabbed a regular Nintendo controller and started back up playing.
And it worked just fine. So I don't know if it's because it's new or there's some... I don't know.
The buttons are raised really, really high on that comparatively to the Super Nintendo controller. I think that has something to do with it. So I just wanted to make sure we got that out there because that was an issue and it was noticeable. And I had some issues with Punch-Out with that controller too. So Mario 3 and Punch-Out are games that I know very, very well, and that wasn't playing quite right just with the D-pad. For clone console controllers, I would say they're pretty good.
We also, when we first got this thing and we plugged it in, we had a big issue where it wouldn't power up. Like the light would shine on, but it wouldn't come on the TV. And we were like, what in the hell is happening?
Yeah. We don't know how to read instructions is what was happening. So we were plugging it into a USB hub with we got a bunch of stuff hooked up in here. And we weren't getting enough power to the unit. And we found that out. Kudos to Old Skool. We emailed them. They said, hey, use the original power supply. And we did. And
boom.
Yeah.
And then we're like, idiots.
But we've had one other issue with it, and I can't quite figure it out. It works just fine on modern TVs through HDMI, but in our game room we have two CRTs stacked, and our most used CRT is a Sony Vega flat screen that has the HDMI in the back, which is why we have it in here, because it's very universal TV and it's great. We don't get any sound from this when hooked up through HDMI.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because everything else in here that we have with HDMI, the Wii U, the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, the SNES and NES Classic, sound. This, we can't get sound. But if we take it to a modern TV, we've tried on various ones, sound. Instantly, every single time.
Instantly.
So we don't know what the deal is there. We haven't been able to figure that out. But that's just something we wanted to mention because it is an issue.
What else can this thing do?
A couple of unique things. I mean, it's a pretty simple machine, but it does have an aspect ratio switch on the back. So you can go from 4:3 to 16:9. I've never really understood why people would want to do the 16:9.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I mean, it's a cool feature, but I don't know why you'd want to play like Street Fighter with huge characters.
Yeah, I mean, the camera adds 20 pounds. Well, switching a 4:3 game to 16:9 is going to do that for you for sure, if not add more. So we've been playing on 4:3. The one thing that I really am excited about is there's a region switch on the bottom, and you can switch from the North American territory to the PAL region, which is really neat. We've never collected any PAL games because we didn't have a way to play them.
But now we do, so our eyes are open.
Yep. So that's going to be really neat. But yeah, a couple features otherwise. NES, SNES, AV, HDMI, aspect ratio, region switch. So the reason we picked this up, we wanted a simple machine that could help us with screen capture on SNES and NES and save wear and tear on original hardware.
Yeah, that's really important. I try so hard to just save the original stuff because, well, obviously they don't make them anymore, but they're harder and harder to find. They're harder to fix. Like, it's crucial to just save the miles on them.
Yeah, and we like playing games together and like party settings and things like that. We just recently were doing some Mario Kart over at your place, and this is the type of console I would feel comfortable bringing to a party. I don't know how comfortable I feel unhooking my NES that works really good and is dialed in over to a party, and you know how things get at the parties we go to. It's out of control. So we wouldn't want to take something like that there. So this would be perfect for that. You mentioned wear and tear, something that I have never heard of it causing an issue. But these, the pins in these have a kung fu grip. Like getting the games to go in and taking them out, I feel like I'm gonna bend a pin on a game or break the cartridge off or something. And I have never heard of that happening. I know there's other clone consoles that have that same situation, but it is worth noting, I would just be very careful with your cartridges, putting them in.
Do it slowly.
And taking them out.
It is scary.
Yeah, it's a tough.
It is tight.
it won't let go. So, but again, we're hypersensitive to that stuff, but it is something that I think you want to be careful about.
The beer, what'd you think?
Good question. I don't know. This whole episode I've been distracted. Like, what am I going to say about this? I like sours and I like barrel-aged stuff. Hell, I love peaches. The song, the fruit, the whole nine. And I can't quite figure this beer out. It's really complex. Very sweet aroma to it. The mouthfeel is very carbonated. It's good. I want to have it more. Like, I want to have 3 or 4 bottles of this. I think someone should try it if they're into sours or any barrel-aged stuff. But it's unique.
Oh, it's super unique. And it's the sour. If you're like not a sour fan, the sour's not very strong. Like, it's like a subtle sour, so it's enjoyable. I mean, I like sours, so I would like this either way. But just from the aroma to the back taste, it goes through a freaking whirlwind of flavors, and it's crazy.
You were saying the first sip you had, you said it was buttery.
Yeah, the aftertaste leaves my mouth like this buttery, velvety
coating.
Yeah, coating.
Yes.
And it feels like I'm eating pancakes on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I was like, what? And then I took a drink. I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It kind of coats the tongue.
It's weird, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. It just adds to the complexity.
Yeah, it is very unique. I definitely think you should get out there and try getting your hands on it. It was a little spendy. I don't know that it's something you're going to want to have all the time, but it's something you should definitely experience. I've never had this style of beer that has so many combinations like mixed together. It's a saison, a barrel aged, a sour. You know,
it's freaking crazy that it works.
Yeah, it does. And it's a twist on one of their most popular beers. So I haven't had anything from Funkwerks. This is my first rodeo. But you said their most popular beer.
Yeah, the Tropic King.
This is a twist on that. So they took that, added some peaches, and barrel aged it.
Added some sour.
The souring bacteria that they, whatever they do to make sours, and we got this beauty. So I would give it a thumbs up, but I need to try it more because it's been kind of mind blowing for me. I can usually identify stuff pretty quick, and this is complex.
It's a thinker.
There's no doubt about it. So, final thoughts on the system. What do you think?
I think it's sweet. It was $70. That's like the price of a new modern video game, and this is a new console, 2 controllers, everything you need to play. Even if this thing poops out, we have 2 decent controllers that we can play with. So it's cool, and you can play, HDMI, AV, it's awesome.
It is versatile. It's one of those things. If you have cartridges laying around and want to play them and bring them to an HD TV, this would be a great thing for you. There are tons of vehicles to play retro games. It's a great time to be a retro gamer. It's hard for us to tell you, yes, go out and buy this. But it's a good product. So if you need this and this fits your needs and will help you play the games that you want to play and enjoy, you should definitely pick it up. There are tons of options. The NES plug and play, the SNES plug and play, the Classic editions. You know, there's the Retron 5, all these other versions. But for what we needed this thing for, we're getting a lot of bang for our buck.
Yeah, it works perfect.
So, thanks for tuning into this episode. What's all the other stuff they need to do?
Leave a comment below. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, find us on social media. That'd be sweet. And keep gaming, keep drinking. We'll see you guys next time on Gaming Off the Grid. So we're going to sit down and tell you our impressions. I've said sit down twice now. So we're going to sit down and tell you our impressions of this thing.
And we got the Peachy King, Funkwerks, Imperial. I don't even know what to say. Alright. It is Funkwerks Peachy King. It is a sour, Imperial, Saison Ale. Don't know how I just got all that out without tripping over my words.
But then you just did.
Yeah, alright. Here we go. We're going to discover this beer in the Classiq II HD. Bye.
Bye.
That was bad.